It's not the mistake, it's the cover up. And that company was a perfect example of that, where they weren't funding. And then I remember it was just, it's mind numbing to think about that. I was working for the company, couldn't get an answer from anybody. I would call the home office. I couldn't get through. Surely no client could get through. And you're sitting there going, guys, stop putting your head in the ground. Help people, explain, work through the problem, stop taking in stuff, start. And you want people to do that, but some people just avoid problems when things get tough. And that the leadership in that company was a great example of people that made the problem worse than it needed to be. And I think that
Yeah.
I'd hope that maybe if I ever saw them one day and talked to them, they would go, yeah, we did. We screwed up. I'd like to think that. I'm not sure though. Yeah.
I love that what what your grandmother's was saying there. Like that's such an important thing is like the transparency. Like everyone's going to mess up at some point, and that's
Right.
a terrible mess up. But it gets 10 times worse when you're not transparent and clear. And like, yeah, there's consequences to being transparent and clear, but ultimately it just makes it so much worse.
Oh, so
So
much. Well,
yeah, I
but
have a lot of respect for that mindset. This is such a smaller scale from what you're talking about,
no,
but
no.
like with our investor updates for Proline, like I am brutally honest. Like if we had a bad month, I lay it all out. And I have had people tell me that are on that list, like, hey, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't like don't be that honest. And I'm like, if I'm not honest about the bad months, then no one's gonna believe me on the good months.
That's good.
Like but
Yeah.
and that's a much smaller scale than what you're talking about. No one's getting screwed over. It's just, we had a down sales month. But I just
Yeah, I get
think
it.
that concept and that principle is so important at any
Yeah.
scale.
And we have that around here. So if you look, over on my wall over here, about 2.5 years ago, I read a book. No, it's more than that, almost 3 years ago, because it was just after I started the company. And I never thought a book would change my life. Like, give me a break. I would tell people, like, yeah, I'm going to read. All right. But Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life.
So good.
Um, and I always thought number 8 was tough. And it's like the one that spoke to me the most. And they asked Jordan Peterson, they said, what is the toughest rule for you to follow? He said, by far, rule number 8's the toughest. And I was like, man, I'm not the only one, which is always tell the truth or at least don't lie.
Yeah.
And I thought, because we go through life every day and we tell lies to ourselves, to our family, to our friends, little lies. I'll be there in 15 minutes. It ain't going to be 15, but we say it because it makes the other person feel good momentarily that we're going to be there. We tell someone we're going to take care of something. We don't have any intention of doing it till tomorrow. And so I think that, like, it's amazing to me when I sat down and went, man, Pat, how many lies do you tell yourself every day? Maybe you should start keeping your own promises to you, and maybe you'll have more respect for yourself. And that was just that book, and that rule changed a lot for me in this business.
That's awesome. I love
Yeah.
that book. I'm
Oh,
right. That's a great recommendation.
oh my gosh.
When did you
So
read that? When it
about 2.5 years ago.
so like right after that everything went down? Yeah.
Yeah. So because I was lost. I had thought at 32 when I was working, we're kind of making that transition. 33. I'm 37 going on 38 right now. And I thought we had so many leads. That's why I think, like, Square Dash, you guys got it. If they do it right, believe me, there was no shortage of people who needed the service. It's necessary, as John, we were just talking about. And I remember thinking, like, man, what a wasted opportunity. I spent so many years and I had no purpose. I was like, what am I going to do? Do some cell phone video? I don't know how to do anything else. And I was just lost. And so that book really helped me out. It gave me, if I'll be honest, it gave me about 2 weeks where I had something to do. Like, I'm going to read a chapter, and at least I had an attainable goal. It was measurable. I got it done. I felt like I'd accomplished something to make myself better. But yeah, rule number 8, always tell the truth or at least don't lie. And they're in a bunch of different offices here. So I keep them up everywhere.